Is noon Central and 1 p.m. Eastern, and you have a live look at the beginning stages of another widespread tornado outbreak across portions of the mid and lower Mississippi valleys. A brand new moderate risk of severe weather has been put in place for sections of northeastern Arkansas, southwestern Tennessee, and northern Mississippi, as you're seeing on your screen now. This includes the Memphis metro area, down through Clarksdale, Mississippi, Corinth, Mississippi, all the way back up through Dyersburg, Tennessee here. Again, this is a 4 out of 5 on the SPC scale. This is an area that we are usually not looking out for too much in terms of a high-end potential for a significant severe weather threat during this time of year. However, this moderate risk is now in place as, again, we are going to be talking about a significant amount of instability in this area, which is going to allow for a couple of strong to potentially damaging tornadoes to develop in this red and even the yellow shaded region there, but especially the red shaded region. That's our 15% hatch tornado risk, and that's where we think we have the greatest potential to see some significant tornadoes, potentially, EF2, EF3 plus. Now, the damaging wind risk is definitely also in place. You will notice we do already have a Boeco line of storms developing back into portions of northeastern Arkansas here, so a 45% hatched wind risk has been introduced over our moderate risk area, so damaging winds of 70 to 80 miles an hour or higher can't be ruled out across a good chunk of this region. So if you're in this area today, you need to be hyper weather aware. I know we've been dealing with your region a lot lately. Arkansas has just not gotten a break, but one is not coming anytime soon. Now, we're not just dealing with a severe weather threat today, we're also dealing with a catastrophic flash flood, the likes of which Arkansas has almost never seen before in recorded history. We currently have 2 flash flood emergencies in effect for portions of Arkansas, the highest level of weather warning that can be issued, the emergency tag. A catastrophic flash flood is ongoing in the Little Rock metro area. Again, this is a particularly dangerous situation. If you're in downtown Little Rock, you need to be getting to higher ground immediately. If you're not already, emergency management has reported flooding into buildings and homes. And again, this line of storms did not help that problem at all. And it also brought some significant damaging winds to the area. And while those trees had already received so much rain on them, that makes them a lot easier to tear apart whenever you got damaging winds of 60 to 70 miles an hour, which is what we're dealing with right now. Now, we also have another flash flood emergency back up towards Cherokee Village, Arkansas. We have reports of water rescues ongoing east of Cherokee Village along Highway 62 and 63, so if you're in this area, you need to make sure that you are seeking higher ground immediately as well, because a flash flood emergency is something that, if you're in one, you're likely only going to see once or twice in your entire lifetime. They are not issued too often, especially for portions of Arkansas, but this is a catastrophic situation for you guys that are being impacted in those flash flood emergency areas, and even just in the flash flood warnings in general. We're seeing some significant flooding ongoing. We currently have 33 flash flood warnings going all the way from parts of Arkansas back through southern Illinois and western Kentucky. So if you're in any of those areas, you need to make sure that you are avoiding travel today if possible, because we are suspecting that significant flash flooding is ongoing and potentially up to catastrophic flash flooding in some areas as well. Now, we do have our storm chasers out there today. We've got Storm Hunter Media on the ground in East Central Arkansas. We don't currently have their feed pulled up because they're not quite live on YouTube yet, but we may tune into them a little bit through the Radar Omega app here. We've also got Storm Chaser Freddie McKinney. He just booted up his public stream. He is going to be in northeastern Arkansas right now. And we've also got PA Storm Trackers out there driving through some of the significant flash flooding back into Appalachia, because yes, we are dealing with this, again, potentially catastrophic flash flooding all the way back into portions of West Virginia and even, like eastern Kentucky. So, again, a very significant severe weather event on the cards for today. These are the very early stages of this outbreak. I hope you guys will be coming to join me today. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. How's it going, everybody? Good to see the usual crowd back in here, as always. If you do have any questions about your location, make sure to leave those down below. But what's going on, Amber, Gooseman, Storm Watchers, Weather, Mr. Storm, Arcs, Indiana? Yes, I did literally just get a haircut. So what is Bastrop, Louisiana going to be experiencing? So Bastrop, Louisiana is going to be a little bit further off to the south of where we're expecting the greatest damaging wind threat to be. But as this line approaches and it continues to expand down to the south, I wouldn't rule out damaging winds up to 60 miles an hour. Whoa, Seawolf Lover with the Slight Risk membership now for 3 months. W Seawolf in the chat. Thank you so much. Members get access to exclusive videos. They get shout-outs at the end of every single forecast that we do, and more exclusive perks. So if you'd like to become a member, make sure to do so by clicking that link down below. There should be a little button right next to the chat as well. But WC Wolf Lover down below, make sure to show him some love. Let him know that he's awesome. Again, thank you so much for the continuing Slight Risk membership now for 3 months. That's incredible. So anyway, again, Bastrop, Louisiana, some damaging winds of 60 to potentially 65 miles an hour certainly can't be ruled out. There's not really going to be any sort of tornado threat this far south, but I will say some isolated flash flooding definitely can't be ruled out either. So if you're in this region, stay aware today. Make sure that you have multiple ways to receive alerts. You are included in our tornado watch that's currently in effect until 7 p.m. for sections of the lower Mississippi here. So what can we expect for northeastern Alabama? Northeastern Alabama is actually going to mainly be an area that we're watching for tomorrow. If we take a look at tomorrow's Storm Prediction Center outlook, we can see that we've got that slight risk of severe weather highlighted for sections of northeast Alabama. That's a 2 out of 5 risk on the Storm Prediction Center scale. Some damaging winds of 60 to 70 miles an hour can't be ruled out, and maybe even an embedded QLCS tornado. So if you're in this area, again, make sure that you are staying tuned into the streams. We will be live tomorrow because we are expecting a couple of tornadoes to be possible across portions of especially southeastern Alabama, but also northeastern Alabama, northwestern Georgia. Definitely can't rule out an isolated tornado or two, as we do have quite a bit of instability out here in this region. So make sure that you are staying weather aware out there. Yes, every single day of this week has been at least an enhanced risk. Most of them have been higher. Again, 2 moderate risk days in a row just doesn't even feel crazy anymore. Again, this is usually what we see during the peak time frame for severe weather throughout the entirety of the year. It just doesn't even feel weird anymore because we've seen 2 high risks in 2 weeks, guys. Like, this has been an unbelievably active stretch of weather, and I don't think that a lot of people realize this is not how most severe weather seasons start. Yeah, no problem, Wendy, but again, catastrophic damage still from portions of Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi. All those states are being reported. Again, we had very significant violent tornadoes, including Lake City, Arkansas. We also had Diaz, Arkansas. We had, Bakersfield, Missouri. We've had the tornado that ended up hitting Covington, Tennessee. We had Selmer, Tennessee. We had so many different catastrophic tornadoes. It was just within the past couple of weeks here across the Deep South. We had Clarksville, Texas. You can't forget about that one either. And many, many more that if I went through all of them right now, it would take me 3 hours. So, again, just unbelievable damage out here, and my heart goes out to all those people that have been impacted recently. So, Mr. Storm, I see you asking about the peak time frame there. It's likely going to be about 3 to 5 p.m. in terms of a tornado threat. That's whenever we're expecting these discrete supercells to be fully matured across portions of northern Mississippi and western Tennessee, and have that potential there to produce a couple of brief, strong tornadoes, especially across this region here around the Memphis metro eastward. So, that's going to kind of be our peak time frame, and then again, maybe a couple more discrete supercells ahead of our line around 5 p.m. there from portions of Kentucky back through Tennessee, but these are likely not going to become too significant as there's not a lot of instability out here or a great moisture content. But significant damaging winds are also going to be possible, really starting now all the way through tomorrow night. I mean, not tomorrow night, but tonight into tomorrow morning. Again, very significant damaging wind threat with this line of storms that is starting to get going here across portions of eastern Arkansas. Eventually, this will make its way into sections of western Tennessee. The Memphis metro definitely can't rule out damaging winds of 70 to 80 miles an hour. I mean, you can even see that bow echo segment there on the HRRR model, which is not something that you end up seeing too often. So, very significant stuff. You watch the Minecraft movie and it's amazing. I'm going to be watching it later this afternoon, so no spoilers, please. But we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning going out for Jonesboro, Forest City, and Wynne, Arkansas, for the threat of damaging winds up to 70 miles an hour and some quarter-sized hail. So if you are in Wynne, make sure that you are getting indoors and away from windows immediately. We currently have storm intermediate just off to the east of our line here, about to get a pretty decent intercept on this thing. The line is kind of chasing them at this point because these storms are moving quite quickly. These storms are moving off to the east-northeast at about 45 miles an hour here. And again, an isolated QLCS tornado can't be ruled out anywhere in our line of storm, so we'll certainly be on the lookout for this. I'd say it was a bust for Arkansas, but definitely played out for Northeast Texas. Yeah, Northeast Texas, if anything, it may have overperformed a little bit, but everywhere else was a pretty big bust. We actually did have a couple of very significant PDS tornadoes overnight last night across Northeast Arkansas and Western Tennessee, but still probably not really a performing moderate risk of severe weather, in my opinion, but definitely not the worst call that they could have made. So, anyway, again, we have our line of storms continuing to take this Boeing shape here in between Newport and Pine Bluff. We're going to guess that this is where the most significant corridor of damaging winds is. And this is also where the flooding potential is going to be the greatest because this is the highest precipitation area. Freddie McKinney has literally named his stream the Swamp Chase because this is going to be a nasty, marsh, dirty, like just gross setup for photogenic tornadoes and, you know, even just like discrete supercells in general, because we are going to have such high precipitation event here with every single thunderstorm that develops. We've already got, you know, feet of standing water in some of these areas. For example, Little Rock. I mean, this is just going to be one of the most, you know, unbelievably nasty chases to watch of all time. We're probably not going to see any good footage, so we're probably not going to be tuning into our storm chasers all that often because, again, these supercells are going to be hard to see any sort of structure at all whenever we're dealing with an environment that has, you know, this many high precipitation supercells in this squall line and potential low-end derecho that is developing. That is another thing to talk about. If we want this to be a derecho, obviously, it has to travel 400 miles. It is certainly possible that that happens, so we could be dealing with a derecho on our hands, but either way, it is a very large damaging wind event that you shouldn't be taking, you know, as a joke if you are in like Memphis, Tennessee, or Jackson, or even Nashville. We definitely, oh, that was a horrible voice crack. We're definitely going to have that threat for some significant damaging winds all the way back through portions of Middle Tennessee and northern Alabama overnight into tomorrow, as we were saying earlier. So again, tomorrow we have that slight risk of severe weather in play for sections of Alabama, Georgia, and the Florida Panhandle here. Now, I think that this is actually likely going to have an upgrade to an enhanced risk of severe weather for some damaging winds across maybe like the northeastern sections of Alabama, maybe western Georgia there. The tornado threat I doubt would get upgraded from a 5% risk, which, by the way, this will be the first time that we didn't have a 10% hatched or higher risk in nearly 10 days. So that is a huge, huge break in our massive streak that we've been dealing with. But even a 5% tornado risk, you still got to watch out there through sections of Alabama, the Florida Panhandle, all the way back down through southeast Mississippi. And again, even in that green shaded region, the SBC has mentioned that there is a very small chance of a couple of tornadoes in this area. So again, we're definitely going to be watching out for some tornadoes tomorrow embedded in our line of storms, but I think for the most part it's going to be a damaging wind threat. Again, 15% chance of damaging wind gusts of 60 miles an hour or higher across portions of southern Appalachia back through to the Gulf Coast. So very nasty stuff indeed. Love the new thumbnail. Thank you. Yeah, Levi 15 actually made it for me. He has been very helpful, so if somebody wants to put his link in chat, that'd be great. I know there were like some hyperlink documents made to help out with this kind of stuff, but I don't want to get too distracted on stuff like that because, again, we are dealing with a very significant day of severe weather coverage here and potentially one of the more active in this stretch in terms of a damaging wind threat. Now, the tornado threat, I'm going to be honest with you, I am shocked that they upgraded to a 15% hatched risk, but it is there, and again, obviously, you should trust the Storm Prediction Center and the National Weather Service over than what some random 15-year-old kid says on the internet, and just be weather aware, but I would really doubt that we're going to have too many significant tornadoes even in this area today. Again, this is all contingent on if discrete supercells develop out ahead of our line, which isn't necessarily a guarantee because some areas in here, again, have been seeing rain and thunderstorms constantly, so that could lower the instability in these regions and potentially lead to a less significant threat with some of those severe thunderstorms from those discrete supercells. So it all comes down to storm mode. It's one of those events, guys, but I definitely do agree with that damaging wind risk. Again, that 45% hatched risk put in place from sections of northeastern Arkansas all the way back through western Tennessee, with even that hatched indicator in there mentioning the threat for significant damaging winds of hurricane force or greater through sections of the Memphis metro region. So again, a very significant damaging wind threat for today, if nothing else. Levi is not chasing today. He said that he might do like a very brief local chase, but he's not going out here to like western Tennessee or anything like that to chase these damaging winds because, again, this is just a huge swampy, marshy mess. This is not going to be an event that's going to be fun to chase, I wouldn't imagine. It is going to be a pretty nasty one out there today, but again, I'm glad that we have some people on the ground doing it, and there is that chance that, again, you know, maybe we do get a photogenic tornado or something like that, and I wouldn't entirely rule that out quite yet, but I think if we do get a significant tornado, the chance of it being ugly and nasty more than photogenic it's much greater. So, anyway, That is the synopsis today. That's the forecast. How's it going, Pete? Thank you for tuning in. Again, we are dealing with another day of significant severe weather coverage here. Again, a 4 out of 5 moderate risk of severe weather in place for sections of the lower Mississippi Valley. So, pretty significant stuff. Again, right now we're watching the development of our line of storms across sections of eastern Arkansas, riding up I-40 towards Forest City. So again, if you're in this area, you need to make sure that you're indoors and away from windows immediately. We think the greatest corridor of a damaging wind potential would come from Newport down to Forest City, as this is the area where we have a clear bowing segment in our line of storms. And then again, that's going to grow further as we get closer to portions of western Tennessee there. Our damaging wind threat will kind of peak. I was too, honestly. I didn't expect a moderate risk at all. Again, I can kind of see the 45% hatch risk, like I said, but the 15% hatch tornado risk is just crazy to me. NATOcast, and you're not going to believe this, but NATOcast has not a 30%, not a 15%, but a 45% tornado risk on place for sections of southwestern Tennessee, which is unbelievable. In no way, shape, or form does this event deserve a 45% tor risk. You got to keep in mind, this is one of the old models. The newer NATOcast models still have a 30% hatch risk there for sections of Tennessee, which I still don't think need to be in place at all. But again, we'll see what happens. NATOcast is scarily accurate sometimes, but then you see stuff like this, and it's like, I wonder why those 30% hatch risks are in that specific spot. Population bias, maybe? Who knows? But anyway, very significant tornado event here for the potential of it anyway on the cards. Across portions of Dixie Alley, again, portions of the Tennessee Valley as well, with the 2% tornado risk going all the way from sections of central Pennsylvania back down to the Gulf Coast. This is a very large risk of severe weather today. Again, we don't have a lot of people back up in Appalachia, but we do have PA storm trackers tracking the flooding threat back out there. So, we're going to see if they can get some good footage out there today. We're going to be watching them quite closely because they're going to have one of the better views, I would say, of anything significant, as they're just going to be watching flooding. And flooding's, you don't need a super clear sky to see, obviously, as you would for like a tornado. Our chasers will not full screen, and again, I can't fix that because OBS is being stupid. We do have Warn View back, which is just incredible because this has been down for so long during the most active stretch of weather during the year, and we are glad it is finally back. This is, if you don't know, a warning layout created by James Bettis. He has been nice enough to allow me and the boys to use it. It is going to give us those real-time, accurate updates on those alerts, the new ones that come in, anything like that, the specific type of warning that it is and everything. So, again, huge shout-out to James Pettis for allowing us to use those severe weather alerts there on Warn View. Now, again, Stormer Media is about to get an intercept on this line of storms. Again, they have given us permission to use their feed for today, along with Freddie McKinney and PA Storm Trackers and a couple others. But we're going to mainly be watching Stormer Media and PA Storm Trackers quite closely, as well as Freddie McKinney, because Stormer Media and Freddie, they're going to be back in here chasing this line of damaging winds, and PA Storm Trackers could have a good view of flooding back here into portions of Appalachia. So, again, a high risk of excessive rainfall, meeting flash flooding guidance within 25 miles of any given point, has been put into effect, again, for, I believe, the third day in a row now, for sections of the mid-Mississippi Valley back through even to the eastern portions of the Red River Valley. Again, that is a 4 out of 4 risk on the excessive rainfall outlook scale. It does not get higher than this. We already have multiple flash flood emergencies coming out. We actually had a flash flood emergency for Van Buren, Missouri last night, which is crazy, because less than a month ago, they were under a tornado emergency, and now they were under a flash flood emergency. So, feel very bad for some of these communities out here in southern Missouri and northern Arkansas, especially, as they have been battered nonstop over the past month for, significant tornadoes, extreme damaging winds, flooding, all the sorts. It's been nasty out there. How's Frankfort, Kentucky? So Frankfort, Kentucky is mainly actually going to be watching out for a pretty significant damaging wind threat as well as a flooding threat. If we take a look at the HRRR model here and we take a look back at the 15Z run so that we can get a full look at our layout for today, we can see that we're expecting constant rain showers to be moving through this area, so that's going to tack onto that flooding threat. But around 7 to 8 p.m., maybe 9 p.m. Eastern is where that line of storm starts to come in, potentially bringing you a damaging wind threat there in the Frankfort area. Potentially, 50 to 60 mile an hour gust arrests can't be ruled out, but again, the bigger thing is going to be flash flooding, certainly. You got several more inches of rain coming on top of what you've already gotten. I would not be shocked if they issue the flood watch for portions of middle Kentucky and southern Indiana here. I don't know why they don't have it in place already. They just have a huge gap over this area. I mean, it all comes down to the specific National Weather Service warning offices, so we'll see. It did go moderate, indeed. Not just for a tornado threat, but also for a 45% hatched risk of damaging winds within 25 miles of any given point for sections of southwestern Tennessee and northern Mississippi, as that Bow Echo line of storms is starting to look very impressive. They did a last-second upgrade there. Again, it's not a huge moderate risk, but it is certainly enough to be concerned about here if you're in this area. We did just get a new severe thunderstorm warning back in portions of Texas. This is for quarter-sized hail. We got one of these little thunder showers here that has developed a hail core on it. It's, got that decent lightning signature as well on the radar, so there's a good chance that this is going to intensify further. So if you're in Kemp, Gun Barrel City, or Canton, Texas, along I-20 in between Canton and Terrell, make sure that you are moving indoors immediately. Again, hail up to the size of quarters will be a possibility with this one across portions of Kaufman and Zandant counties. We can't entirely rule out a tornado threat in Frankfort, Kentucky, but it is so low. The SPC does have you in the 5% tornado risk, technically. I don't know why they have it going all the way back into the Ohio Valley. That seems a little absurd to me, but, again, listen to the SPC over what a 15-year-old kid says, but if you want my opinion, I wouldn't worry too much about a tornado threat back through the Frankfort area. And again, the SPC only has you highlighted in the 5% risk there, so... Yeah, nothing too concerning in terms of a tornado threat. Yeah, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe if you're new here. I just realized the lights are not on in this room, so the lighting's terrible for the first 20 minutes of the stream. That happens. Let's see if we can get to 50 likes this stream. We're already at 33, so thank you guys so much for that. Again, huge shout out to C Wolf Lover for becoming a Slate Risk member for the 3rd month in a row. Incredible stuff. But yeah. Yeah, I'd say that seems about right, Gooseman. Again, the damaging wind threat definitely looks to already be quite intense here across sections in northeast Arkansas. Honestly, I would not be shocked if they upgraded one of these severe thunderstorm warnings to the destructive tag quite shortly. So if you're in this area, prepare to seek shelter if necessary. Again, a crazy Bow Echo segment now evident with this line of storms as it crosses I-57. This is going to be riding I-40 into the Memphis metro here very shortly. So we're going to watch out for that. And again, potentially a significant tornado threat if any discrete supercells do manage to get going across northern Mississippi here. The creek near me is flooding in central Indiana. Yeah, that's been the story for a lot of these little small rivers and creeks across the Ohio, Wabash, and Tennessee valleys. It has been awfully muddy, nasty, soggy out there. 3 words to describe today's environment in the Midwest. And there we go. We actually do now have a tornado warning in effect for Wynne, Arkansas, and Terrell. So if you're in this area, seek shelter immediately on the lowest floor of a sturdy building, away from windows in an interior room. This is going to be in effect for the next 38 minutes. This is for portions of Cross, Poinsett, and Crittenden counties. Again, seek shelter if you're in this area. Significant damaging winds up to 80 miles an hour, and again, potentially a tornado cannot be ruled out with this portion of our line here. Again, likely just a broad rotation there that they're warning it for, and just a precautionary tornado warning. But again, you need to be in your safe spot either way, because in this kind of environment, there's definitely the chance that this line of storms could spin up a brief tornado. So let me go ahead and update the stream title here, as we now do have a tornado warning in effect in Arkansas. Again, this is northwest of Memphis, Tennessee. This is in effect for Wynne, a town that was hit heavy by a PDS tornado last night. So, pretty significant stuff here. Okay. So, again, that tornado warning is going to be in effect until 1 p.m. Central here. How's Western Pennsylvania looking for today? Probably going to be a big-time flooding threat back here if you're in, like, the Pittsburgh metro area. But outside of that, I wouldn't really watch out for too much. But again, a few inches of rain definitely could accumulate, bringing a isolated flooding threat for portions of Western Pennsylvania. There again, the further southwest you are, the greater that threat is going to be. But I don't think it should be anything too significant, especially compared to what we're dealing with back in, like, the Ohio Valley and the Mississippi River Valley here. But some isolated flooding definitely can't be ruled out, so be on the lookout. But again, tornado warning now in effect for Wynn, Cherry Valley, Marked Tree, Terrell, and Earl. So seek shelter if you're in this area here. Again, this is for portions of Crittenden County, as well as portions of Cross and Poinsett counties. We have covered this area so much on this channel now that I nearly know these counties by heart. Pretty crazy. But again, all these little cell mergers here have kind of popped out ahead of our line. Our line is just absorbing them, swallowing them up, and likely strengthening our line there. So, again, this is mostly a precautionary tornado warning. No visible rotation on the radar that we can definitely confirm. But if you're in Wynn or Cherry Valley, you need to be seeking shelter just to play it safe. And again, damaging winds are definitely going to be still a very real potential either way. Again, Storm Media just south of where that tornado warning is. I actually believe they're pushing north here to try and intercept that. They are currently looking at some, not necessarily flooding, but some significant rainfall accumulation here in eastern Arkansas. Again, they're right now in Holly Grove. We do have Freddie McKinney, I believe, actually very close to this tornado warning, if not in that tornado warning at the moment. Let's see. Can we actually take a look at that? We might not be able to, because, again, OBS is being bad. Well, let's take it out of here. So they're in Reason, Arkansas. Again, it's not just Freddie out there, but also John McKinney out there today as well with them chasing. So alrighty, chat, so we're back. Sorry about that. We do actually have a new tornado warning as well now for sections of Forest City, Arkansas. So if you're in this area, again, you need to be seeking shelter immediately on the lowest floor of a sturdy building, away from windows and in an interior room. This one, we may have some visible rotation north of I-40, northeast of Brinkley, but again, it's very contaminated at the same time, so it's kind of hard to tell. But if you're in this area, you need to be in your safe spot. Again, Storm Chaser Freddie McKinney and Storm Media are both about to be right on this line, so we're going to have a lot of looks at these areas of potential rotation embedded in our line of storms in Arkansas. So if you're in this area, make sure that you are seeking shelter. What's up, 5? Again, very intense line of storms here with a damaging wind threat, if nothing else. So again, Wynn, Forest City, as well as Marked Tree, you need to be getting to your safe spot immediately. Again, multiple tornado warnings now in effect for areas west of Memphis, Tennessee. If you're just now tuning in, again, we are watching this line of storms continue to develop a significant damaging wind threat as well as a embedded QLCS tornado threat for areas in Arkansas and western Tennessee here as we speak. I wouldn't be shocked to see a couple more tornado warnings come out further down to the south here as our line continues to grow this in this area. So be prepared, because at the very least, we're likely going to see some severe thunderstorm warnings get issued, as I would be hard-pressed to believe that these aren't damaging winds up to 60 miles an hour here associated with our line south of Pine Bluff. So get ready. You finally got radar scope? Nice. What is with the lizard man? I don't get the lore. Anyway. So again, our rotation just north there of I-40 likely with our northern tornado warning. Same thing with our southern warning here. Again, HRRR likes the idea of this line getting quite intense, actually, and potentially, again, having that threat of damaging winds of 80 to 90 miles an hour across the Memphis metro. That's kind of where it peaks at. So we'll be on the lookout. Again, a flash flood emergency remains in effect for downtown Little Rock, Arkansas, as well as Mayflower, Conway, and Cabot. If you're in this area, seek higher ground now. More rain is continuing to fall, as it will here for a while. Same thing with the Cherokee Village area. Very significant situation ongoing. Sorry, I'm doing good, 5. I didn't see your message there. But, again, pretty intense damaging wind threat here becoming evident. And a new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued because of that for damaging winds up to 70 miles an hour, quarter-sized hail. It also has the tornado possible tag on it there for Walnut Ridge. So if you're in this area, you need to be moving indoors and away from windows immediately. Again, that's going to be riding I-57 just north of Newport right now, approaching Swifton and Walnut Ridge in northeastern Arkansas. We also did get an official report now of some quarter-sized hail back with our storm in Texas. Again, this is currently warned for quarter-sized hail and damaging winds up to 50 miles an hour for Gun Barrel City and Kemp. That hail core just crossed over Highway 175. If you're in this area, make sure that you are moving indoors. If you're traveling along I-20, I'd recommend getting off if you're in between Canton and Terrell. But again, we got to kind of focus in here on our tornado warnings in Arkansas. Again, these are going to be approaching the Memphis metro very shortly. It's snowing in northwest Texas. It indeed is. We do have winter storm warnings up for portions of the Texas Panhandle and eastern New Mexico. And we're actually going to be talking about the potential for some snow across Oklahoma and Kansas, as well as even western Arkansas here as well. So, again, pretty crazy how things can go from, the most catastrophic tornado event of the year and catastrophic flash flooding and all that nasty jazz to snow within 48 hours. I mean, it's crazy. But, again, watching these areas of rotation very closely, they don't look too intense to me quite yet. But we're going to let you know if that changes. Again, in between I-40 and Highway 14 there is where we're concerned that a couple of brief QLCS tornadoes could be potentially trying to develop here within the next 10 to 20 minutes. Again, I'm kind of surprised they haven't pushed any of these severe thunderstorm warnings to destructive yet. But can't wait for the break from severe weather. I low-key can't either. I mean, again, we've been live here every day now. We missed one day, I guess, but pretty much every day for the past few weeks. So, definitely ready for a break. Brand new severe thunderstorm warning there. Huge one going out for pretty much the entirety of far northeast Arkansas. All those counties there in northeastern Arkansas and even portions of Dunklin County in southeast Missouri under a brand new severe thunderstorm warning. Let's see here. Again, damaging winds up to 70 miles an hour, some quarter-sized hail. If you're in this area, make sure that you're moving indoors and away from windows immediately. This includes Paragould, Jonesboro, as well as Forest City and Wynne, all the way up to Marmaduke. And again, this does technically include a little bit of Duncan County there in the boot heel of Missouri. What is with the lizardmen? I don't understand the lore. Somebody explain. Anyway, again, I really would doubt any strong tornadoes today. I'm going to be quite frank with you guys right now. I mean, I guess I wouldn't doubt a strong tornado, but a 15% hatch risk I think is somewhat unnecessary. Again, maybe we go into the mid to late afternoon time hours, we see something here in northern Mississippi, but I really just don't think that that's really in the cards today. Again, discrete supercells don't look to develop, and the QLCS is really not going to be intense enough to the point where it's able to produce strong tornadoes by itself, most likely. Some snowflakes tomorrow in western Pennsylvania. They took me to Germany, and now coming for you, Davis. That's the lore. Dang. Am I going to Germany? I mean, that's where the Bavarian pretzel was invented, I think. So, I'll take it. Anyway, after that comment, again, we can get a wide look at our storms here. If we look at the MRMS radar, it's just not super high res. But from north central Louisiana back all the way through northeast Arkansas is where your line of storms is currently intact. And again, you can see if we just look at even, just the past 50 frames, we can see that this line just really is growing quite quickly here in terms of north to south motion, I guess you could say. I believe this is latitude. So I would not be shocked if, by an hour from now, this is, potentially 1.5 times the size that it already is. We did just get a brand new tornado warning there from Manila and Truman, Arkansas. If you're in this area, seek shelter immediately. This also includes areas west of Covington, Tennessee, Fulton, Gilt Edge, Burleson, Truman, Mark Tree, and Harrisburg. You guys need to be getting underground if you can. If you can't, get on the lowest floor of a sturdy building, away from windows and in an interior room. Broad rotation near Fisher right now. So again, 3 tornado warnings now in effect here for northeast Arkansas. So again, that is interesting to say the least. Again, really no visible rotation with any of those tornado warnings yet, but it's more so a precautionary measure than anything else. And again, either way, guys, damaging winds of significant proportions are going to be a possibility here from Forest City all the way back up towards Jonesboro. Again, that's where our Boeing segment is the most intense in the line and the most noticeable. I typically think North Memphis is going to end up seeing the greatest damaging wind threat here for the entirety of the day out of anywhere. I'm going to Belarus? That's in Russia. This is a live look from the Texas Panhandle, from the Vega, Texas High School. It is dumping buckets right now in terms of school. Again, school canceled out here because it does not take a lot to get your school canceled for snow in Texas. You know what? It's a Saturday. Okay, I'm an idiot. I cannot believe I just said that. Yeah, that's kind of what we were thinking, Sam. Again, there's genuinely a very small chance that we see any strong tornadoes at all for this event. I mean, it can't be entirely ruled out, but a 15% hatch is quite unnecessary. This is a good example of, a 5% hatch tornado risk being necessary, if that existed. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning for southwest of Memphis for quarter-sized hail, damaging winds up to 60 miles an hour, and it does have the tornado possible tag on it for Mariana and Helena, West Helena. That's where Freddie McKinney is currently located, and then storm intermediate is right off to the west of here. Again, look at all that significant flooding in these fields. And again, it's about to get a lot worse with this line of storms. Stormy southeast of Memphis might try to develop some rotation, I guess, but this one doesn't have a great environment to work with. I guess it's not terrible, but just the non-discreteness of it makes me think that it's probably not going to be able to do too much. And again, instability is not super high out here in southwest Tennessee in general, so. No, the Dallas tornado is not going to get rated EF5. Its final rating was INDF4, and you can make the argument that it should have been EF5, but either way, just an unbelievable situation up there. So again, a very prominent damaging wind threat starting to become very noticeable here. Again, this is the terminal radar view. Look at that Boeing segment, dude. Again, we're probably going to start to see a lot more reports of down trees and power lines in this area quite shortly. Levi, yes indeed, it is a haircut. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think we have a new tornado warning. Yeah, the Niles, Ohio, Wheatland, Pennsylvania tornado was very significant. By far the strongest tornado in Northeast history, other than maybe the Worcester, Massachusetts tornado. That's not Massachusetts, Davis. That's Connecticut. This is a live look from Piperton, Tennessee, from the Collierville Town Hall. Will you get absolute cinema? Honestly, you do have a pretty decent chance of some damaging winds here. I'm not going to lie to you. I wouldn't rule out damaging winds of 50 to maybe 60 miles an hour for the Nashville Metro and surrounding areas. I'll also like to point out, back up here in eastern Illinois, pretty significant flooding ongoing today. Again, got some good footage for you guys that will be included in our vlog whenever everything settles down, which looks to be relatively soon, luckily. So, definitely some rotation trying to develop, but again, it's very broad right now, approaching Harrisburg and Wiener. I don't even want to say that town name. But you got a buzz for hitting 500 subs? Dang. I just got a bad haircut. No, I'm kidding. I mean, I don't think it's that bad, but I'll tell you what, it's not as bad as max velocities. You didn't hear that from me, though. Especially surrounding areas. It's crazy. But, I mean, again, NATOcast had a double 30 hatch yesterday, and you'll notice the population bias super clearly if you look at it, if you know what I mean. I mean, that's one of the things that makes me discount NATOcast's accuracy and reliability in a lot of situations. Again, it's still fun to look at and watch it evolve, but I don't like that aspect of it. Alright, see you, Gooseman. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for all the help today. Alright, we're going to move the camera up here a little bit because you can hardly see my head in frame. So again, still pouring at the Collierville, Tennessee Town Hall. You can see you got some gusty winds of 40 to 50 miles an hour as well there. Look at that. Look at those trees blowing around. Camera's shaking a little. You can see that rain getting blowed sideways. Camera's not measuring any significant gusts, but that cannot be accurate. These are far higher than 4-mile-an-hour gusts. Could I see anything crazy today, Davis? I don't know about crazy, but damaging winds and flooding. Certainly a big threat. And I think the coolest thing that you might see in your area would be the flash flooding that happens, or that will likely happen. Why is Freddy showing on his stream? Excuse me. Yeah, I don't know, Gooseman, because there's the conditional chance for a strong tornado, but definitely did not deserve a 15 hatch. I think they throw these out way too much nowadays. But, again, take the National Weather Service and Storm Prediction Center's words over mine. And be prepared if you're in this area, because, again, significant damaging winds are going to be a huge possibility either way. And, again, I would not be shocked to see a brief strong tornado today. I just don't think a 15% hatch is necessary. This is a live look, never mind. It said it's up, it has the green ring around it, and then the camera's not up. Did I call you Gooseman? That's my bad. He used to have a tornado for his profile picture, so I guess that just confused me. Alright. What's up, random Texan guy? Like how everybody in chat is a mod. So again, potentially tightening rotation approaching Harrisburg and Marked Tree in Arkansas. So if you're in this area, you need to remain in your safe spot. Yes, you're a hamburger. Sorry. So going back to our Texas storm here, east of DFW. Again, reports of quarter-sized hail came out from this a long time ago. That's just now crossing I-20 and Highway 80 near Wills Point. And we do now have a recorded gust of 70 miles an hour. There are a report of a 70-mile-an-hour gust by the public in Fisher, Arkansas. So again, definitely an intensifying line of storms here as it approaches Memphis and areas north of Memphis especially. Forecast for North Houston. North Houston will probably not end up seeing anything too intense. I will say cells are somewhat discreet out here. They are developing quite quickly. There's quite a bit of moisture, but I would doubt like a strong tornado threat or anything like that. Maybe some damaging winds, but the tornado watch does go back into the Houston metro. So again, our tornado watch goes all the way today from western Tennessee back down through southeast Texas. I mean, it's multiple tornado watches technically, but alrighty. So, again, Aaron Jajak now intercepting our line. Let's see here. Again, I wish we could full screen the chasers, but OBS is being crap, so it's not going to happen. Again, day 3, for the first time in a long time, marginal risk. This is for Monday. From sections of the Outer Banks of North Carolina back down through the Florida Panhandle. Geez, maybe some isolated damaging winds. Any sort of tornado threat? Little early to say, but probably not. Wouldn't be shocked to see a slight risk upgrade, though, for wind. Maybe hail. Oh, yeah. We do have developing rotation there over Waldenburg. So, again, if you're in this area, you need to be in your safe spot. That's right over Highway 4963. And partially contaminated, but may have something trying to develop over here over the next few minutes. Again, I'm not going to say that town name. I'm not doing it again. Tornado warning for wind has been condensed. This storm system is moving over areas already impacted earlier in the week. You think? Yeah, there's no CC drop, but would not be shocked to see that change, to be honest. So again, that rotation would be just west of Harrisburg right now. Eventually, if this does keep going, it will make its way near Jonesboro, Arkansas. But still quite weak. Again, the only reason it looked so intense was because it was partially contaminated. The supercell near Memphis could be the storm. I don't know about that. Definitely has some rotation there, though, north of Collierville. Near Canadaville. That is such a weird town name. But that's a stretch, sorry. Again, I woke up very early this morning after going to bed very late. I wish I would have stayed up even later, because again, we had a huge tornado right up along the Tennessee, Arkansas, Missouri tri-state region last night around 3:30. Again, on top of Lake City. I mean, it didn't hit Lake City, but I mean, like, on top of the Lake City one that we already had in this area. This is not a hook echo, by the way. This is another merger. Alright, we gotta look now from Truman, Arkansas. Holy crap. Yeah, these fields are entirely flooded, guys. And that is significant flooding. And again, it's about to get a lot worse. I would not be shocked to see this area get upgraded to a flash flood emergency by the time today's over. So again, severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect for Spearsville. Broad rotation there, but hardly noticeable. Again, it's mostly a precautionary severe thunderstorm warning with a TOR possible tag. Damaging winds up to 60 miles an hour, certainly possible though. And again, a couple areas of rotation trying now near Harrisburg. Again, just still not super impressive though. Which I see in Ruth, Mississippi. Mainly going to be a damaging wind threat down there. And really that's contingent on if the line even makes its way this far south. But it's likely going to. And that would be a tomorrow morning thing, not a tonight thing. I forget exactly where Ruth is. I know it's by Butte, Macomb, Tylertown. But late night thing here. Isolated tornado threat? Maybe. Somewhat discreet. Supercells? Probably not. So again, tornado warning remains in effect for Truman, as well as Terrell and Wynn in northeast Arkansas. Again, these are mainly just precautionary warnings. But, again, obviously hard to look at actual contamination and rotation differences in a QLCS event, but definitely had something briefly try to develop near Waldenburg, and it's still there, east of McDaniel. And then also things maybe trying to tighten up, or at least the damaging wind threat may be becoming more enhanced as this part of the line approaches Mark Tree. Alright, yeah, new velocity scan there. Maybe actually a little bit of a velocity couplet handoff trying to happen. A little bit of rotation intensifying near Harrisburg. I don't know, these two areas are pretty far away though, so these may just be two separate velocity couplets. Not a debris signature, but I'm not gonna lie, it did look somewhat convincing for a second. Praying for everyone. You had a tornado pass a few miles northeast you in northeast Texas. Yeah, that's very scary. Again, the Clarksville, Texas tornado was very violent. I don't even know if it's been preliminary rated yet, but very significant stuff. So again, prayers for everybody out there. You ready for you to see severe weather, Davis? I'll be honest, the Plains have had a slow start to the year. The one major Plains event that we were expecting busted hard. And outside of that, not a whole lot recently. I don't know why I switched to day 2, as if I was expecting to see something in the Plains. But again, something maybe trying to happen here northeast of Collierville. But again, that is not a hook echo. That is just a cell merger. But approaching Oakland there. At least an enhanced pocket of winds. About to cross Highway 64. I don't know Southwest Mississippi weather, because by 3 p.m. the peak of the threat will really just be getting started. Oh, is the Lone Star one? Okay, we were live for that as well. That was the other really significant one. Yep, flash flood emergency for Cherokee Village and then also downtown Little Rock. Yeah, don't feel bad. Mr. Storm has been beating himself up over not being able to go live for um, some of the tornado emergencies we had this year. And I was like, dude, we still have 8 months left. Again, a couple broad pockets of rotation definitely developing there. One near Harrisburg and one north of Waldenburg in Arkansas. So if you're in this area, remain in your safe spot. Would not be shocked to see Jonesboro under a tornado warning here shortly. You know what's funny? We've only seen tornado emergencies for our high-risk events so far. But every high-risk event we've had has had a tornado emergency. All 2 of them. Oh, you know what? No, I take that back. March 14th, I had a Tory for Van Buren, which was not necessary. I'm going to be totally real with you guys. But there was bad radar coverage, so... Yeah, I do. I got maybe 5 hours of sleep last night, which isn't terrible, to be fair. But whenever I've got a busy day like today after only that much sleep, it's kind of rough. Might go to bed early tonight. But again, we got coverage to do, so we're going to do it. I did. Yeah, I did. We do have a new tornado warning, by the way, for Jonesboro now, as we stated. So, if you're in this area, seek shelter immediately. This is going to be in effect for an hour and 5 minutes. So, Jonesboro, you need to be in your safe spot. Again, some broad rotation there near... Well, really not that broad, honestly, at this point. Just rotation. So, again, this is going to go very close to downtown Jonesboro. Again, potential tornado on the ground there, approaching Cary and Ridge. Getting right in there. Pretty noticeable. So again, here's your winds going towards the radar. And then you got your winds going away from the radar. That's where your rotation is. Yeah, I've definitely had worse. There have been nights where I've gotten no sleep. Quite a few times. Y'all ever pull an all-nighter? It's not healthy in any way, but it's like a sleepover with my friends. I'll do it, but get your sleep, guys. You're not thinking straight whenever you have no sleep, whether you like to believe it or not. You're not. Make a lot of stupid decisions. It also gets somewhat dangerous if you go, multiple days in a row. Like, genuinely dangerous for your health. Some rotation definitely trying to develop, or just another extension of our enhanced wind pocket approaching Mark Tree. So again, remain in your safe spot if you're in this area. But again, this is a pretty impressive rotation here south of Otwell, Arkansas. You got 43 minutes the other night. Well, that was because you were under like 8 tornado warnings in one night. So, unfortunately, not much you can do about that. Yeah, you need sleep, guys. It's important. So, likely going to get another velocity scan here within the next couple of minutes. We'll see what this rotation looks like at this point. It'll be east of Otwell. It should come out literally any second. Again, no confirmed tornado at this point, but we'll see. Looks like they're going to skip a velocity scan here. Yeah, well, summer's a little different because summer you can sleep in until however long you want. But and again, there's those people that every day will say, "Oh, I only get 1 hour of sleep every night." No, you don't. If you're talking to me and you're screaming at me about how much sleep you get enough. New tornado warning just issued, by the way, for Harrisburg and Truman. Seek shelter. Again, not much of a shock here. Just an extension. Kirkivat Singh. So again, there's your rotation approaching Jonesboro. Again, the new velocity scan is just not coming in. Let's check the Little Rock radar. Of course, it is right in our... Yeah, of course. Okay. That's fun. Oh, wow. Okay. So a lot of broadening out there of our rotation. It died pretty quickly, actually. Again, I'm going to watch a couple areas here near Truman for some developing rotation, but... Anyway. That would be the dream, wouldn't it? Southwest Mississippi, or Hamburger, as you wanted me to call you. Definitely some rotation trying to get going near Oakland, Tennessee, by the way. I would watch this. This is an actual hook echo at this point in time. You can see some inflow right over Oakland. So I wouldn't be shocked if this at least got a severe thunderstorm warning with the tornado possible tag on it. Because there's definitely some broad rotation there now north of Oakland. This kind of reminds me of the rotation that we had with the Columbia, Mississippi tornado right before it really got its act together. I mean, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen here by any means. That was a very rare scenario, but... Again, it's entering a non-discrete environment, unlike the past few minutes, so... We'll see. Again, it's definitely still possible that this tries to do something, but... Again, your rotation would be right over Oakland, if not just north of Oakland at this point. You text your friend to go take pictures? Sweet. I mean, this is like the only exciting thing to watch at this point, so. Again, northeast Arkansas. These are pretty much all precautionary tornado warnings. We may have a couple spots of rotation trying to develop near I-555, but partially contaminated. So, there's definitely something trying to happen there near Mark Tree. Nothing yet. Well, and it's not even discreet. I mean, the back half of it is cluttered up into a mess. It's our only semi-discrete supercell at the moment. At the momento. I love just drawing randomly. Let's do my attempt at drawing. Oh, hold on. We just got a new tornado warning in Louisiana. This is for Bernice and Marion. If you're in this area, seek shelter immediately. A couple areas of broad rotation embedded in the southern section of our line. No. No. That's my attempt to draw like a supercell. That's how horrendous this is. Well, I don't know why I'm actually trying to draw this. This kind of looks like, this looks like 2013 more. There we go. Well, now it looks like Port Arthur. Big beefy supercell. Looks like a fish. Alrighty. Well, again, I mean, there's legitimately not too much to talk about here. Few areas of broad rotation, but... Oh. How long do I think until it starts back up in Clarksville? Clarksville probably has another 2 hours or so. Until things get real intense. I'd say probably about 2 to 3 hours. Let's see what EARR has you at. Yeah, about 3 or 4 hours, according to the EARR there. So... I started stream just because it was scheduled at noon, and I have a bad habit of not starting streams when they're scheduled, so I figured today's finally the day. And this was a day where we really didn't, it wasn't urgent to go live on time, because, I mean, the coolest thing that we have are some broad QLCS rotations right now. Gotta run, you're good. Alrighty. I genuinely am pretty tired. Again, flash flood emergency remains in effect for Little Rock until 2:15. What's up, Connor? This is from Mayflower and Valonia, as well as downtown Little Rock. So again, if you're in this area, seek higher ground immediately. And we also have a flash flood emergency in effect for Cherokee Village. Again, you got to understand there is a difference between a flash flood warning and a flash flood emergency. A flash flood warning means that there's radar indicated flash flooding or confirmed flash flooding by emergency managers at a small localized level. A flash flood emergency means that we have a catastrophic flooding event ongoing where we've got water rushing into homes, businesses. You know, we've got completely flooded out roadways. It's nasty. So, flash flood emergencies are nothing to play around with. And again, if you're in one, you should be seeking higher ground. Even with some of the flash flood warnings, you've got to be cautious, especially the considerable ones. Because technically, even those don't say the words particularly dangerous situation, they technically are PDS if you're going based off of damage tags. Still got some sort of microburst, or at least enhanced pocket of winds there near Feathers Chapel. It's not really a microburst because it's not a brief period of time, but it's just an enhanced area of wind right over where our hook echo is. And it's not really a rotation per se. I mean, it's a very broad rotation, but it's approaching Yum Yum. And this is a live look at Truman, Arkansas. Holy crap, it is coming down. Camera shaking around a good bit as well. Again, this is what things look like inside of that line. Actually, the worst is already passed on the camera here, but very nasty stuff. We measured a gust at 87 miles an hour on this. I'm not sure if that's accurate or not, but gusts are picking back up again, being measured at 35 miles an hour right now. Wow. Like how it says it's negative 230 degrees. Beyond Arctic. This is Jupiter. Alright, see you, Southwest Mississippi. Either way, very intense flooding. Again, you can see everything out here is flooded out now. And then also damaging winds out here. Looks like some of those tree limbs got chopped off. Again, right now we're measuring gusts at 40. So, my goodness. Again, this is live, guys. This is right now. In Arkansas. Everybody in McKinney is dead. Holy crap. Yeah, we're looking pretty intense. Again, measuring gusts 50 to 60 miles an hour. Wow. Again, you guys can't see the left part of the camera, but, I mean, this thing is shaking real good. There's your weekly Simon appearance. I already know when he clipped that. But yeah, completely flooded out now in Truman, Arkansas. We did just get a new tornado warning for Blytheville, Missouri. As well as Kennett, Missouri. I guess this is Blytheville, Arkansas. But Blytheville, Arkansas, Kennett, Missouri, and portions of northwest Tennessee are near Midway. Seek shelter immediately. Again, we got a couple areas of broad rotation embedded in our line of storms here. And even looking at the base velocities, we can tell that there's something trying to develop here near Lepanto. So, definitely got some rotation trying to develop here. So we're going to watch that. And it's quite broad as of right now, but it's decently strong. Doing good, thank you. Holy crap! This is now a destructive storm warned for 90 miles an hour. So as we said, that camera estimated an 87 mile an hour gust. These are now warned for 90 mile per hour wind gusts. This is the highest wind tag we've had all year. This is a significant situation, and if you're in this area, you need to seek shelter immediately. Again, you need to run, not walk to your safe spot. This is a potentially devastating situation. Again, this is now warned for damaging winds up to 90 miles an hour. So, again, you got to be taking this so seriously. Again, you are in a life-threatening situation. Flying debris may be deadly to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be heavily damaged or entirely destroyed. That's another thing. If you're in a mobile home, you got to evacuate, get to a more substantial shelter. Homes and businesses will have substantial roof and window damage. Expect extensive tree damage and power outages. Again, we've been saying for a while now that this is going to go destructive. I did not think it would have the 90 tag on it. By the way, our supercell in Tennessee finally got a severe thunderstorm warning for damaging winds up to 60 miles an hour, nickel-sized hail, and it does have the tornado possible tag on it. Broad rotation developing near Yum Yum. If you're in Jackson, Tennessee, make sure you're moving indoors. Again, this is now a destructive storm here in Arkansas, moving into the north side of Memphis, Tennessee. Again, that's what we were just saying there on the Truman camera. By the way, that rotation near Lepanto is still trying to develop further. Hold on, guys. And I'm trying to share the word. I encourage you guys to do the same because this is a catastrophic situation, potentially. Again, if nothing else, this is the highest wind tag that we have seen so far in 2025. Again, on the bingo card, there is a 100 mile an hour destructive severe warning. So if we get upgraded one more, that's another spot knocked off the bingo card. So give me just a second here, guys. Trying to share the word here. Again, if you know anybody out here, make sure to send them this stream. Very strong rotation on the Louisiana tornado warning. Let's check it out. Oh, yeah, wow. So right there north of Swift Water Landing, they were putting that out. If you're in this area, you need to be in your safe spot. In Dozier Creek. Pretty intense rotation developing there. Seek shelter. Again, if you're in this severe thunderstorm warning, you need to be getting underground if you can. Tornado warning just condensed. No longer includes die-ass or marked trees. Again, all the rotation at this point. You can see it there, just northwest of Lepanto at this point, likely. Again, this is a very serious situation, though. So if you're in this area, you need to run to your safe spot. Again, cannot believe it. Now warned for 90 mile per hour wind gusts. This is unbelievable. So again, this is near Lepanto. Our rotation is, and also likely the greatest area for a damaging wind potential, all the way back through Jonesboro. Again, I thought this Boeing segment looked quite intense. Again, this is radar indicated gusts, but again, our camera supposedly measured an 87 mile an hour gust briefly. So we'll see. Again, this is unbelievable. This is right now in Truman, Arkansas. And we just had, look at that. Oh my goodness, I have to bring this up on your screen, guys. You can't see it, but there's a roof ripped off of a home there. Oh my goodness. Oh, they just turned it. No. I don't know if you guys saw that, but again, extreme flooding and damaging winds ongoing. Oh my goodness. Might have been a CC a couple scans back. Let's see. I doubt it. It's not impossible, though. I think we're pointing that out. This is not a CC drop right here, guys. It does not line up. Well, actually, wait. This is 116. Yeah, this is a CC, sorry. That's my bad. This is a tornado on the ground in Louisiana. So we now have a confirmed tornado in Louisiana. Again, still technically radar indicated by the National Weather Service, but this is definitely a tornado northwest of Farmerville. So if you're in this area, again, seek shelter immediately. Give me just a second here, guys. So again, tornado likely on the ground here near Farmerville, Louisiana. If you're in this region, you need to be seeking shelter immediately. Yeah, that's definitely a CC drop. Even if the rotation has died and the tornado has lifted, there's still debris in the atmosphere here. But that was definitely a tornado there, at least briefly, near Farmerville. Quite a strong one, too, probably. You can see that rotation was just very tight and very nasty north of Swiftwater Landing. Again, though, now the 90-mile-per-hour wind tag on our destructive squall line here. Again, there's your rotation southwest of Etowa. If you're in this area, seek shelter. Damaging winds up to 90 miles an hour and a possible tornado on the ground here, or possible tornado trying to develop. We also do now have a tornado warning for our supercell approaching Jackson. So if you're in this area, seek shelter immediately. Pretty impressive looking hook there northwest of Whiteville in Believer, Tennessee. Again, there's your rotation. Actually, this would be your rotation. And quite contaminated up near Dancyville, but... Whoops. Shoot. Yeah, I saw that, Gooseman. I'm a little concerned about that. Yeah, this up here is all contamination near Dancyville. Your rotation here is west of Miller. But, again, the highest wind tag of the entire year, right now, in place for sections of northeast Arkansas. Things are starting to pick up. I think it's safe to say. Again, that Truman, I hope, dang it, dude, they didn't flip the camera back around. I'm 99% sure there was a roof with a home with a roof ripped off of it, thrown into what is now a pond, what used to be a field. And this is a significant flash flooding situation, if nothing else. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, very serious rotation developing near Dancyville, Tennessee. Again, this is not your rotation, this is contamination, but rotation west of Miller that's going to be approaching Cotton here pretty soon. Yeah, I don't like the look of this at all. We'll wait for the next velocity scan, but... we don't have any other radars out here that we can use, that's the problem. Like, genuinely, there's, like, nothing. You can see the rotation all the way from the northeast Mississippi radar, so that should tell you something. This is the Paducah radar. You can see the rotation there, northwest of Whiteville at this point. Again, we'll wait for another velocity scan, but I wish we didn't have to. Again, very intense area rotation now, near Dancyville. And look at that hook echo. Again, this is a high precip supercell as well. There's a good chance that we have at least a partially rain-wrapped tornado develop with this. Alright, rotation still about the same level of intensity as it was earlier near Miller. We just got an unbelievably large severe thunderstorm warning for Memphis, Kennett, Paragould, Blytheville, Manila, South Haven, Hernando, Mariana. This is for destructive winds up to 80 miles an hour. If you are anywhere in this severe thunderstorm warning, you need to be seeking shelter immediately. And that includes downtown Memphis. Again, these are destructive storms for Shelby, Mississippi, and DeSoto. For your protection, move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a building. Wind tag's now observed. So we have, in some way, whether it's spotters or whatever, I guess it was observed on the 90 as well. Holy crap. And I don't know if that's from the estimated gust from our camera or what, but very large severe thunderstorm warning there. Again, this thing is huge, guys. This is legitimately one of the strongest, or one of the largest severe thunderstorm warnings I've ever seen. Okay, we just had a tornado go near Farmerville, Louisiana, if you're just now tuning in. let's actually check up on that. Why did it put us on... Nope, that is high-res reflectivity. This is just really bad radar coverage zone. So again, your tornado's dissipated at this point, but it was just on the ground there northwest of Farmerville, at least briefly. Or I guess due west of Farmerville, whenever it was on the ground, likely. Again, there's your debris signature. So again, likely lofting debris there, potentially, 5,000 to 10,000 feet up into the atmosphere. At least a brief tornado there near Farmerville. But, again, I am very concerned for our folks back here in northeast Arkansas. I think this is a significant wind event. Very significant. And, again, our Danceyville storm in Tennessee, also very impressive from a reflectivity standpoint. There's your new reflectivity scan even. Holy crap, guys. Again, this thing could produce a tornado here legitimately any minute. All it takes is for a debris signature to pop up now. There's your rotation southeast of Danceyville. And it's not a debris signature, but I already know there's going to be people that mistake it for one. That's actually your inflow. Jeez Louise. You can see a debris signature, or not a debris signature, but you can see you can see the area of inflow on correlation coefficient. That does not happen very often. So, that's insane. Again, you can see the inflow on the correlation coefficient. You've been able to see it for a while now, too, actually. But now it is real impressive and real sharp. My goodness. And you can see how it exactly lines up with our inflow and reflectivity, so that's what it is. Not a CC drop because of a debris signature, but inflow. Not something you see too often. So again, our storms are just now starting to cross I-55, so if you're in this area, seek shelter immediately. Yeah, it's not, the velocities aren't even that impressive, but it's just the fact that we have, a textbook presentation there on reflectivity. I mean, not textbook, but pretty impressive, considering this is pretty much non-discrete at this point. As it crosses I-40 here. And you can see the CC inflow. But, again, we definitely had a brief tornado there, no matter what, near Farmerville, Louisiana. You're in the flash flood emergency, stay safe, dude. Which one? Again, make sure you're getting to higher ground, because we have numerous reports of building flooding now. And again, this Truman camera here, you can actually see it. This isn't even an area under a flash flood emergency, but if they turn it back around, you can see the fields out here are entirely flooded out. That's kind of what they're like back home at here, too, as well. I'm not going to lie. But, again, there's your broad rotation over Caraway. Again, if you're just not tuning in, make sure you like the stream. We're trying to hit 50 likes. We are 3 away. That is incredible. Thank you guys so much. Again, we've been live here for, I don't even know, a long time, for the past couple of weeks. We've been doing this for years now. We try to give you guys accurate and reliable information. And I think we do a pretty good job of that. So, if you could click that subscribe button, that would help out more than you would ever know. We are now at 3,930 subscribers. Josh Brinker commented, he's a part of PA Storm Trackers, he commented on my community post. I'm going to do a tornado documentary on the December 9th, 2023 tornado outbreak. That's my next documentary. We at 50? Sweet. My thing just hadn't loaded yet, I guess. So again, if you're just now tuning in, we have a quad-state severe thunderstorm warning for destructive winds up to 80 miles an hour, and one behind it mentioning damaging winds up to 90 miles an hour, with this incredible bow echo line of storms moving through northeast Arkansas as we speak. We just got a new severe thunderstorm warning for the southern portion of the line for damaging winds up to 60 miles an hour and nickel-sized hail. I'm still pretty concerned about our storm here near Whiteville. I'm not going to lie. Again, this is contaminated, but you can see where our actual rotation is still decently impressive there near Eurekaton. That is a weird name, but it's kind of fun to say, Eurekaton. And again, you can see a CC as the inflow notch. Or I guess that wasn't the inflow notch right there, but we did earlier. And that's crazy. Louisiana storm's picking back up. Yeah, right there west of Marion. We'll watch that, because again, the storm has a history of likely producing at least a brief tornado. So, anyway. Again, I believe 5 tornado warnings right now. Yeah, 5 tornado warnings across portions of the Deep South, mainly associated with this one area broad rotation in our line, so not nearly as intense as the warning count might suggest. But significant damaging winds coming into the Memphis metro here shortly, and especially areas north of there I'm highly concerned about. Like Blytheville, again, you need to try to get underground if you can, because you are in a tornado warning. If you can't, get on the lowest floor of a sturdy building, away from windows in an interior room. They did finally cancel the 90 tag, but that's just because the severe warning just expired. Again, new warning still has the 80 mile an hour tag on it, so. Again, hurricane force winds incoming. Very strong rotation aloft on the Tennessee storm. Let's check it out. I am Winnie. I didn't even realize what time it was, but we are probably going to have to end off the stream here pretty soon. Unfortunately. Right as things get active. But we're going to stay here for a few more minutes and try to see if anything else is going to happen here with our rotation. I don't know why I circled the entire area. Like, this is all rotation. Everybody's dead. But you know what I mean. Picking up what I'm putting down. Storm media going down to the south to northern Mississippi to intercept supercells that'll develop, I guess. I don't know what their goal is there. We just got a new tornado warning for Monticello and McGehee in Arkansas for another broad area rotation in the southern portion of our line. Again, this storm is heavily electrified down here, so good sign of intensification. So if you're in this area, seek shelter. If you're in between McGehee and Dumas on Highway 65, get underground if possible. If you can't, get on the lowest floor of a sturdy building, away from windows in an interior room. I've said that phrase so many times, it's like a tongue twister now. But I guess they're going to wait for the line to catch up to them here, but that's going to be about 5 p.m., so they're going to have a while of waiting. Yeah. I guess they could be heading down here for some of, like, the west central Mississippi / east central Louisiana supercells. It's kind of what a couple other chasers are doing as well, I think. We actually could have a slightly elevated tornado threat right over the Rolling Fork area. Getting quite a bit of moisture cape out here. 2,500 cape. Again, moisture content is quite high, obviously. Dew's getting into the low to mid 70s. This is a pretty impressive environment. Let's see, actually, what is the HRRR saying in terms of gusts at the surface for our line here? We'll go back. This is going to be interesting. So HRRR has, again, they don't get too good at getting the specific most intense points in the line, but they have things getting 70 miles an hour tops. But again, they don't usually get the most specific points at the most integral portions of the storm. So maybe a CC again on the Louisiana storm. Let's check it out. Okay. Never mind. Let's go back to our Shreveport radar. I don't think there's a CC drop. Its rotation's northeast of Meridian at this point. But we'll see. We'll wait. Again, I am going to have to end off the stream here very soon. But see you, Storm Chaser 575. Thank you for tuning in. Again, if nothing else, this will go down as a historic flood event and a pretty significant damaging wind event. So, we may be back later tonight if things do pick up again, but I would doubt that. Again, we may have a briefly elevated tornado threat this evening across portions of Mississippi. Those were the Cape values, and we were looking at them through reflectivity. That was fun. But I mean, I wouldn't bet on anything too intense. So we'll see. Again, maybe another briefly elevated tornado threat late tonight across the lower Mississippi Valley here. But at this point, not going to be a lot of instability. So we'll see. But I do want to thank you all for tuning into the stream. Again, we will be back tomorrow no matter what. But that's about all I got for you guys today, so thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.